Peace be with you. I'm Imam Muhammad Musri, the senior Imam of the Islamic Society of Central Florida and President of American Islam. Over the past few weeks, we have witnessed a series of terrorist attacks that attacked in Ankara, Turkey, killing a lot of people, in Beirut, Lebanon, in Paris, France, in Mali, the Russian jetliner that was brought down, and many more that the news headlines were occupied with. First, let me reiterate our position in condemning all forms of violence and all terrorist groups and organizations that are carrying out these attacks. Second, our hearts and prayers are with the victims of the families and their loved ones for all of these attacks. Many politicians, many leaders are at loss for what strategy needs to be followed in order to stop these attacks and bring peace to our world. I think we often, as a people, address the symptoms and not the real problem that underlies all of these attacks. The symptoms of wars, refugees, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and many more are just the symptoms of a deep problem underlying all of that. And that's the lack of faith, the lack of love, the lack of respect for human life. I believe the problem cannot be solved simply by militarizing the world and going to war in the Middle East. What dragged us into the mess we have is the war that started in Iraq and Afghanistan and opened the Pandora box. And here we are now dealing with more terrorists than ever before and with more violence, and hundreds of thousands of people are dying. So we need to go back and rethink the strategy. Spending more money on military hardware and getting more of our young people killed is not going to solve the problem. Here at home, every year over 30,000 people die from gun violence. Senseless killing is everywhere because of the same real problem, the lack of faith in God and the lack of love and respect for human life. So let's ask ourselves what kind of world we want to see for our children and great-grandchildren. If we can imagine that world filled with peace, love, and harmony and respect for all people, then we have to begin at the heart of the problem, with our hearts, with distancing ourselves from hate and hate language, from bigotry and racism, and start seeing each other as brothers and sisters. We are indeed all brothers and sisters, belong to the same parents, Adam and Eve. God created all of us equal. And God stated in the Quran, in chapter 49, verse 13, O people, we created you from a male and female and made you into nations and tribes to know one another. And we need to think and ponder this message from God, that He created us diverse people in tribes and nations to know one another and to love each other, to respect each other. God, throughout history, revealed the message of love again and again. Love thy neighbor as yourself. Prophet Muhammad spoke of this love for others. He said, you are not a true believer unless you love for your brother what you love for yourself. Now we know this as the golden rule. It is simple. You hate something, hate it for others. You love something, love it for others. No matter how we state this golden rule, we need to apply it. We need to bring it to life in our societies. At the individual level, if we love for others what we love for ourselves, we don't do that through the gun, through violence. And at state level, if we want other societies to live in peace and prosperity, we should not go to war with them. I believe that at the end of the day, more people will suffer if we do not address the real underlying problem. If we believe in quick solutions through more spending on war and through killing and eliminating and destroying, these words will never solve the problem. Violence will only beget more violence. And no one could have imagined the mess we are in when we invaded the Middle East the first time. Therefore, I invite our leaders and everyone here listening to this message, please begin with yourself. Learn about your faith. Learn about God. Love God. Learn about Islam, the true Islam, and follow your heart. If your heart is enlightened with knowledge, ignorance will disappear. Ignorance always leads to fear, and fear leads to violence, and violence leads to regret. And always knowledge leads to understanding, and understanding leads to respect, and respect leads to love and life in harmony. So I invite you to live in peace with your neighbors. I invite you to learn more about other cultures and other religions. Let's get to know one another and follow God's message. Thank you for watching.